I'm not over the moon for Konkret Comics Luna. I'll explain in today's video.
Now available on Lulu. John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes comic book. Get your copy of the first John Haynes comic at lulu.com today.
All images in this video are used under fair use of United States copyright law of 1976 and are used in conjunction with my commentary. I haven't had much time to go out and do comic review videos, and I haven't had much motivation to do them because these are some of the least watched videos on this channel. Now, I've been busy over the last couple of days working on the final book for the SJS Direct 2024 catalog, Isis Dark Incubus, which is a follow-up to 2019's John Haynes Dark Succubus. And as I've been working on Dark Incubus, I have been taking a look at many of the indie comics that I have purchased on Kickstarter and seeing which ones I really want to go out here and make video reviews of. Now, when I make video reviews, I usually want to make this to be a teaching component because I want people to learn how to improve the craft on their comics. And with this comic, Luna, I believe there's a teaching moment here as related to Black fantasy. Now, when I read Luna, I wasn't over the moon for this book, and I wasn't over the moon for this book because I don't really feel like it's the kind of escape that I want for the kind of Black fantasy I want to read. Now, Luna has some absolutely gorgeous art on the cover and some very gorgeous art inside, and the art here is absolutely fantastic as related to this comic, but I was less than impressed by the overall designs and the story. Now, what really left me with a really sour taste in my mouth in the beginning is seeing the heroine on the cover being a black woman with blonde hair. Now, the whole black woman with blonde hair thing is something that I'm not really into because when I want to think of a sister, I want to think of her having her natural black hair. And seeing this black woman with the blonde hair, again, is a red flag for me as related to promoting a sort of kind of self-hating image. Now, I know some people are fans of characters like Storm, and even I have done designs like this with a character called Cassandra Lee many years ago, but I was trying to say that she was trying to be an artsy type chef. But with this character, I think that it's like sort of like they're trying to say that this is like one of these chocolate-covered white women, and that's kind of a turn-off to me as related to the character, who has, again, a very great-looking design, but the whole black woman with blonde hair thing is a bit of a turn-off to me. Now, on a positive side, I did like the art as related to this book, and the art in this book really reminds me a lot of the animes I used to watch, like Battle of the Planets, also known as Gatchaman, Voltron Lion Force, which is also known as Go Lion, and Voltron Vehicle Team, which is Daruga 15, and other shows that I have watched over time, like Dragon Warrior, and many other shows like Dragon Ball Z. So there's a positive here. The art is absolutely gorgeous as related to it having that kind of anime style, but the whole story, and the story is somewhat intriguing as related to it because it has kind of an anime feel. And the story is supposed to be set in the year 10,000, where humans have migrated to other worlds, and that superheroes of old Earth are all gone. And now we've got these energy keepers out here, and these energy keepers are the ones who are supposed to create this balance of life in the universe. That really reminds me a lot, again, of those animes I used to watch. And the story here, again, is somewhat interesting overall, but I just was really turned off by certain elements of the story. like the heroine again being with the black woman with the blonde hair that's all long and flowing, because that's a turn off to me, because it's trying to make the black woman into a white woman. Now the story starts out in the year 4000 with this white guy who is aspiring to get these cosmic powers, and he winds up getting locked up by the head of the universe, and he's the one trying to fight this white guy, and he puts this white guy in the prison. And I don't know if he's black, because it's kind of racially ambiguous. I don't know if this guy who is is out here, the supreme one, he says that this white guy has violated the law of the Jora, and he says that he needs to imprison him. So this is like a foreshadowing of sorts. But the art here is, again, I love the art here as related to the early part of the story. And we then are introduced to 99 in the year 9980 to Princess Luna. And as we're introduced to Princess Luna, we've got a girl who aspires to own the moon, and her parents are trying to tell her that you cannot own the moon. And as she's told she can't own the moon, what is that her powers are growing, and and they're trying to find a way to suppress her powers. So that's what they're trying to do here. Then we're introduced in the year 10,000 to the male lead, who is Abiek. And Abiek is a white dude, and this Abiek is supposed to be this guy with these kind of wolf-like powers. So I guess he's a wolf who likes to howl at the moon. I guess that's what they're trying to say with this character. He's some sort of bad boy pirate, and he's a bad boy pirate who is going out here, and he's got a white girlfriend, but he wants to make plans to invade Luna's planet, and Luna has to go out here and make the choice between the beta male black guy, all known as Imari, who wants to marry her. So they make the black guy into a beta, make the white guy into an alpha, being the so-called alpha wolf. And that's where I started to get turned off from Luna, because Luna turned from a black fantasy into a swirl fantasy, and I'm not really a fan of the swirling fantasy, because it's looking to me like you want to go out here and say that she has to be with the white guy. And again, the story starts to talk about how she needs to be with a white guy to save her kingdom, and that's basically telling me again that the writer is on a tick about the deification and worship of white men, that she needs to go out here and be protected by the white man. And that was one of the things that turned me off about this book. You got the whole thing in the first issue talking about she's got to get with the white man and has feelings for the white man, and that's not what guys like me come to black fantasy for. When many creators like myself go to black fantasy to escape, we don't want to see a black woman who is fine out here chasing white men. That's a turnoff for guys like me. And again, it's a major turnoff as related to seeing the story. She's marrying the white man later on in the book. I don't want to give away too much because I don't want to take away from the hard work of these creators. But this is a book I wasn't impressed by, because instead of me getting an action-packed fantasy that presented a positive image of black people, what I got was a swirler fantasy that is an escape for those who want to go out here and be with these white men. And again, most black creators, like especially heterosexual black men like myself, we're really not into the swirling, and we're not about trying to promote that agenda. And again, when I read this first issue, it really was a turnoff to me. And again, it wasn't leading to a strong first impression for me, because I just wasn't into the old swirling aspects of this story. So this was one that it had gorgeous art and a decent story. I just wasn't into the way things were executed in Luna, and I wasn't over the moon over Luna, because Luna is not the kind of black fantasy I'm into. So this may be somebody else's cup of tea, but it wasn't my cup of tea. No, I wasn't into Luna, because Luna isn't into black guys, and the story basically minimizes black men and minimizes black on black love, and doesn't show you images of black people being together like I show on the cover of John Haynes at Death's Door, you see John Haynes at the side of death. And again, I did this deliberately because you need to see an image of a masculine heterosexual black man actively looking to go out here and protect a black woman. So I wanted to go out here and give people these kinds of images because I know that in the mainstream media, we're constantly bombarded with images of swirlers. We're constantly bombarded with images of black women chasing after white men. And I wasn't a fan of seeing this in Luna. And again, I wasn't a fan of this book because The Awakening shows me how the creator of this book is somewhat asleep as related to the image of black people in media, because we're constantly fed years of this type of media with black women being as this blonde and then trying to aspire to be white and being with white men. So that's not something I wanted to see in this comic. Again, I love the concepts that are presented. I love the premise in some ways. And again, the art is gorgeous because, again, it reminds me of all of my favorite animes and many of the mangas that are out there. I mean, everything here, it looks strong as creatively, but the execution of the concept is one that I really can't get into. So I can't recommend Luna. And I'm not going to really pick up the next issue because I'm not into books that promote swirling and promote the idea of the white man going out here and getting with black women. No, I'm not really into that. So this is a one I'm going to have to pass on. I mean, again, I love Konkret comics, but this was a comic that just wasn't for me. Now, if you want to pick up my comic, John Haynes at Death's Door, you can find it on Lulu right now in paper format. And it's the same price that everybody paid for on Kickstarter. And in that book, you can see the man who rules the world take on the Greek god of death in this comic adaptation of a John Haynes series adventure. And if you like the prose version of John Haynes at Death's Door, that's available on Amazon.com, along with all of the other books in the John Haynes series. And it's also on Amazon. You can also pick up the other books in the SJS Direct universe, such as the ISIS series, the Esteem series, and you can also pick up other books on the SJS Direct imprint, like A Recipe for Success, my vampire novel Eternal Night, the sorority novel The Thetas, my contemporary black romance A Recipe for Success, or if you want to go out here and pick up some of my men's issues books, you can find those books on Amazon.com as well, along with my first comic, Esteem No Good Deed, which is available on Kindle right now for 99 cents. And if you want to help me be able to create more positive black comics like John Haynes at Death's Door, and help me to get other covers for other SJS Direct books, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App. And I use that money to be able to go out here and produce comics like John Haynes at Death's Door, pay for the covers on SJS Direct books, and stay on the air so I can go out here and do more comic review videos, and also go out here and pay for more comics for comic review videos. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, 1987. Learn lessons about life and teenage love in the 1980s with this coming-of-age John Haynes story. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes 1987 at online booksellers everywhere.